right, everybody, so let's now join TTPS Media Ambassador, Sergeant Ansel Ford. He's not here with us in studio this morning. I feel he went to some pan this weekend, and that's why he's not here with us this morning. Sergeant, good morning.
Pleasant morning, Marlon. Pleasant morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Marlon, had I gone to pan, then you may not have got me on the phone either.
Sergeant, always good to speak with you. What do you have for us this morning, sir?
All right, morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, Marlon. So last week we started the discussion as it relates to online fraud.
Yeah.
And I said we would continue to deal with online shopping simply because of the fact that persons are being defrauded by reason of them trusting online sites. Some of it may be local sites, and they part with their money without the ability to verify and without the ability to recover money. All right? So it's necessary that we advise members of the public in relation to shopping online. It is best that if you are to engage in shopping online, that you go through that process of verification. You know the name of the site. It may be a trusted site, but you still need to ensure that when you complete that transaction, that you are not left without your money and without the item that you endeavor to purchase. Sometimes you have fraudsters who are duplicating sites. They put up a website, and it looks almost as the site that you may be looking for. And then, when it is you go through with the transaction, only there and then you realize that you would have lost your deposit. You would have lost your money. All right? Ideally, if it is that you know where the dealer is, as opposed to shopping online, you may prefer to visit that establishment in person, where it is you have the opportunity to satisfy yourself that it is indeed the entity that you intended to deal with, and in so doing, safeguard yourself from being defrauded. You have persons of all age groups, and I want to say that, of all age groups, shopping online. Sometimes they go as far as to give persons, whoever they are speaking to, give them their information, personal information, their address, and these things are very risky because of the fact that you do not know for sure who you are communicating with on the other end. And you are exchanging your personal information. You are giving them your address. In some cases, part of the package is that it is delivered to you. But you don't really know who you're giving your address to. It could be somebody who is posing as a business person, but really and truly, they are unscrupulous persons, they are criminals, and they are trying to get your information, and they can come to your place where you live, and instead of bringing goods that you would have ordered, set up to rob you.
But Sergeant, what does the data say at around this time of the year? Because when you do have a budget, usually some people may say, well, here's what, I don't know what is going to come in the budget, so a lot of people will go online to conduct business. And then you have the Christmas, and then you have the Carnival. So is it that the data will tell you that for this period of the year and going into next year, that there is going to be an increase by the population in doing online shopping, and also an increase in nefarious actions by people?
Marlon, whilst it is, I don't have the data in front of me to give you particulars. What I can say is over time, there has been a trend where around this time, going into the Christmas season, that there is a heightened level of fraudulent activity. Fraudsters tend to be more active. And one can understand why. Because of the fact that persons are now willing to spend more money, particularly because they are into the spirit of Christmas, and they start to do their work all now getting prepared for Christmas, inclusive of shopping, to get the better deals or the early deals and things like these, right? So yes, there is a trend that around this time into Christmas, that there is an increase. Now, I was making a point in relation to persons coming at your home, right? Persons are also, although we would have spoken about this on numerous occasions, agreeing to meet the seller at a particular location. It is happening, I want to say, more so as it relates to the sale of motor vehicles. Persons are going on certain sites, and they oftentimes will see a vehicle priced at a really good price, looking very attractive. And one must ask themselves, would a vehicle of that particular type, in that particular condition, really and truly sell at that price? But sometimes they fail to do that critical analysis or that critical assessment and only see the opportunity. And oftentimes they put themselves in place to be robbed, sometimes seriously injured, and sadly to say, sometimes killed. These are things that we continue to advise members of the public against, taking these sort of chances. Separate and apart from actually going and meeting that person as it relates to a motor vehicle. Persons sometimes deposit money into the account of the fraudster or persons connected to that activity, only to realize that once they make that deposit, all communication that they had with that seller stops. And they are with no money and with nothing that they intended to purchase. If it is that members of the public take the advice as it relates to exercising that level of due diligence, right?
But Sergeant, I want you to speak about a few other red flags concerning these transactions, because I know that in the past people would tell you, the fraudster would tell you, well, come with a bag of money, or if you agree on a particular spot to meet, sometimes the fraudster would say, well, I can't meet there anymore, or I can't get there at that time. And sometimes there is a change in time, there's a change in location. So speak to things like that to us, because I know that that what I've told you there, these are incidents that would have happened in the past.
Indeed, Marlon. Yes, so red flags. First, Marlon, if the deal is unbelievable, believe that it is not believable. Yes? If the price is a price that you know for yourself, that price could never be a factual price, why pursue it further? That's a red flag. When you agree to meet someone, if you decide, it is best that you meet at a place that is safe. And we oftentimes say, meet near to the police station. But fraudsters, hold on this. Yes, Marlon.
All right, Sergeant, if you could please stay with us for a little while longer. We must go to a very short break, everybody. We're coming back.
Sure.
They say to me, they want a musical chair. We're going to a test, we're going to hear them as a pass. Burn in the grass. Big bang. Big bang.
All right, everybody, welcome back. So let's continue our conversation with Sergeant Ansel Ford. Sergeant, over to you.
Yes, Marlon, thank you very much. Continuing the conversation in relation to the red flag. Sometimes you agree to meet with a person, and all of a sudden, for the time that you're supposed to meet or at the location you're supposed to meet, that person changes the arrangement. That is a red flag. The reason why they would tend to do that is to move you from where your sense of security is and put you where they want to put you, in a place where they can carry out, if it's a robbery or whatever other act, they can carry it out and they feel safer to do it in that particular area. That is a red flag. Pay particular attention to that. Never agree to meet at night time. Nothing could be so important in terms of a transaction or purchase that you have to do it in the night as opposed to leaving it for the following day. If it is, Marlon, that you decide on meeting at a particular location, look for CCTV cameras. And if it is that there is, use the advantage of having CCTV footage available that may assist in the event that the deal goes wrong. What you have to do, Marlon, in terms of your approach, is exercise safety. Think like a thief. Do not take things for granted, because you have persons out there who are bent. They are bent on committing fraud. They are bent on committing crime. And they are looking for victims. They are looking for easy targets. And as such, your approach must be one where you exercise that level of care. You are not too persuaded or too rushed into making any particular deal. If it is that you have to make a payment, exercise all of the means that allows you that level of safety. Don't agree to carry cash, and worse yet, a lump sum of cash to meet someone to conduct a transaction. Ideally, one can say, let's meet at the bank, where the money can be deposited at the bank and they exchange the goods. Or that I pay with a bank draft, where it is the person has to go through the process of having that bank draft cleared. It may also mean that they may not want to carry out such a transaction because of the fact that their identity has to be revealed. They have to give you a name or company's name, as the case may be, to whom you have to make that payment to.
Talking about identity, should you insist that maybe they send a picture of their identification card to you?
It is advisable that you do that, but there is the ability to even commit fraud as it relates to that form or that way in which an ID is presented. because you still don't know who is that person you're actually communicating with.
Yes.
And if they send you a picture ID, it doesn't necessarily mean that that is indeed correct. You see how much areas, how vulnerable you can be, Mala, when you decide to engage in online transactions.
So then maybe you should insist on a video meeting, a discussion, so you can see who the person is. What do you think about that?
Marlon, that is a good suggestion. It allows you to actually speak to someone, and you can probably have a recording of your own that reveals the identity of the person. Why is it that we are looking at ways in which you can, let us say, still shop online?
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, Marlon, the advice to members of the public is in as much as possible, avoid that practice, unless it is that it is indeed a trusted, well-established site that you know of, and not a site that is new to you. And this is the first time that you're going to engage in an online transaction. There are inherent risks in doing that. And ideally, if it is, you can visit the establishment and conduct your purchase in person. We advise that you do that.
Yes.
We know that there is the convenience of staying at your home, clicking a button, and having an item delivered to you.
Yeah. Sergeant, I just have about 1 minute again.
Sure. All's well that ends well. But from our point of view, we have had numerous reports, some of which involve the death of another through this sort of arrangement. So, in order to preserve life, we, the police, we would advise you, conduct your transactions in person. Look for the red flags if you decide to shop online, and exercise every level of caution and due diligence before you put yourself in place to either be robbed, injured, or killed by someone intent on committing a crime. Marlon?
Thank you very much, Sergeant. It's always good to speak with you, Sergeant. Thank you very much for the tips that you have given us this morning. Till I see you again, Sergeant, take care. Hope to see you right back here next week. Bye for now, sir.
Thank you. Same to you.
All right, everybody, we are going to a very short break. We'll be right back.
I walk around the room and I started to